Well, good morning, church.
Good morning, Steve.
I pray that all is well with you and all those you love. So we have all different types of gospel readings. Many of our gospel readings are very uplifting and joyful and full of hope. And this one appears, though, to be the opposite, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It's pretty difficult to love those you hate. When I was a young boy, one of my earliest memories is I was talking to my mom. People in our lives have these great influences, don't they, over how we behave and how we act. I couldn't have been much more than 4 or so, 5 maybe. And my little sister, my mom wanted me to apologize and tell her I was sorry, right? And I was like, I don't want to apologize. You know? I'm not sorry. I'm mad at her. She's a pain, right? I don't remember the event. The event was meaningless, like most of our events are. But it's our response that has meaning, isn't it? I later was influenced much more for how I behaved and what I say and what I didn't say from my grandfather. Again, I couldn't have been much more than 5 or 6. My grandfather had a knife that he had had from the Navy and that he was given to me. And I asked him about the war. As a child, you think war is a different mentality. It's almost like it's not real. My grandfather taught me all about forgiveness by what he didn't say. Not once in my entire life did I hear my grandfather say any disparaging remarks against the Germans or the Italians or the Japanese. Not once did I hear him strike out any hatred or any type of anger of what he had endured as a young man. Love your enemies. Ooh, it's hard to love the ones you love, right? Forgiveness doesn't come easy. It doesn't come easy to me. And I have to pray over it constantly. How many times have I found myself, even in recent days, passing judgment on others, condemning them through my actions and my words? Oh, that politician's a jerk. Oh, what does that person know? You know, those types of comments. And I catch myself. I catch myself because there's another way, isn't there? There's another option that we have. War is part of us. It's happened throughout all of our history. Our first reading today proclaims that very carefully. You have Saul, who was the anointed one. He stopped listening to God, so God anoints, David. David was severely outnumbered in his conquest. He had the choice, though, David did, of following his anger, his own hatred, his own envy, or his own greed, and killing Saul. He had the perfect opportunity. Most people would have thought he would have been justified. But David said, no, I'm going to follow what God wants me to do. That can be a struggle. We're supposed to love the people we hate. We're supposed to forgive them. Most of the young children here today would have no memory, at least no personal memory of ever hating a German or an Italian or a Japanese person. Just like they wouldn't have the memory that I have in my childhood and my young life of the Vietnamese, but I hold no hatred to them. Hopefully the generations will continue to be like that. And we all of a sudden could find ourselves maybe not hating Iraq or hating Afghanistan. We can only learn what we can learn, right? You and I can only learn for ourselves. And each one of us has to have that epiphany of thought. Each one of us needs to be able to discover for ourselves that God gives us another opportunity. So this gospel reading we hear is super challenging. But God says there's another way. God says, I want you to love. I want you to care for one another. I want you to be for each one. I want you to be their advocate. I want you to be the person that has the thought to be able to respond in a different manner. I struggle with this on a daily basis. I lock my car when I go to the grocery store. I lock my house every night before I go to bed. We worry about things that sometimes are beyond our control. But with God, we know that we can have a different option. I have to be able to put more trust in God and less trust in my own sense of well-being as far as my own nature. I need to be able to trust that God will only guide me in the ways that I need to be guided. To be able to show to me that the path that I have before me is only a good path if it's God's path. May we all continue to see that we have options in our life. To be able to be kind helps our own soul. To offer forgiveness is really something that helps us. That we ourselves can grow from this experience. Pray for the people who have done damage to us. And in ourselves, ask for forgiveness wholeheartedly. Mean it. Be able to explain to others that you're really sorry for your own transgressions. May we continue to see the world, not through the course of our history, not through the course of our own sense of being, but what for it can be. For God gives us this new option, and this new option is love.